Okay, we are back with a new deck for Standard. Now we have my kind of play style. It's a Simic midrange, a blue-green tempo deck that does just enough to get 20 points of damage through. So what is our game plan? So we have some turn 1 action in the form of Llanowar elves or a tap land. And then we also have turn 2 Faerie Mastermind with the flash, or we can sit back and counter a creature spell to keep the board clear of threats. We do have a sub-flash theme to this deck as well, which is pretty nice in these colors, so you can optimize your plays. New favorite card to build around, Outcaster Trailblazer 4/2, and upside it draws you more cards. It also dumps an extra mana on the field, so you can, after casting it, cast another elf to further accelerate, bounce a threat, or in the sideboard you have sideboard 1 mana cost things too, but we'll get to that later. So it draws you cards, attacks for 4, and extra mana. What else is going on? So the turn 1 plays, we have Into the Floodmaw for a general bounce a threat, and then also the Phantom Interference to get a counter spell, or a 2/2 flyer if that's what you want to do. We also have 2 of the copies of the Royal Treatment for that spot removal, since most of our creatures, as you can see, have quite the big power, so a perfectly timed Royal Treatment can save your dude and also accelerate your clock. So what's going on at the 4-drop spot? We have the High Fate Trickster, Flash, Flying, Evasion, and then also gives all the rest of your spells flash, which is a nice thing to do to optimize your plays. Also with flying and pseudo evasion is the Stoic Sphinx, one of my favorite dollar rares to build around as well. 5/3 flying flash and has hexproofed as long as you don't cast spells, so if they don't have flyers they have a quick clock to turn around against. Then also the fantastic Colossal Rattlewurm, a 6/5 with flash if you control a desert that also tramples, and then if it's in your graveyard you can go grab a desert to put onto the battlefield. So we do have 6 deserts that we'll get into soon. And then at the top of the curve, the Voracious Great Shark to counter artifacts or creatures and attached to a huge 5/4 body. And with the elves, we have some acceleration to play these threats a turn sooner. These giant threats that also double as other good things. So the mana base is split down the middle, blue and green. Nothing too scientific about that. We have the Lush Oasis Desert to ping for extra damage, but the best desert here is the Sandstorm Verge, which takes one of your opponent's creatures out of blocking contention, and so you can search for it also with the Colossal Rattlewurm to set up a attack, or you can search for the Lush Oasis to put that extra point of damage in if that's will win you the game. But many times I have, as you can see, we're tempo deck, so you want to control the amount of threats on the field and then have your opponent pay the mana to have to recast them, while you have more efficient plays and flash plays and counter magic to stop them from happening a second time. So the chances are your opponent will not have very many blockers, and so the Sandstorm Verge can seal the deal. That was a lot of words for... I don't know if anyone's going to listen to all of that, but on the sideboard plan we mentioned some efficient 1 mana removal spells, so we're heavy on the Pick Your Poison. Hits artifacts, enchantments, and also creatures with flying such as demons, which appears to be a popular deck, so if you're playing green you should be playing Pick Your Poison. We have our graveyard removal package of Ghost of Vacuum. Not sure if it's the best option, but I mean it has the biggest payoff if you get to live in Magical Christmas Land and activate the second ability for a bunch of free ghosts. And then we have Ifara's Dispersal. This is mostly against the aggressive red decks that throw a bunch of creatures at you with a lot of extra pump effects. Put them back in their opponent's hand, fix your draws, and then you take no damage. Life is good. Also very efficient is the negate, counter a non-creature spell. So sometimes your creatures are good enough to deal with what's on the battlefield, so you just want to stop that shenanigans. We also have Etherize for those aggressive decks that just dump a lot of creatures on the field. Have them, your opponent, think twice about attacking with their entire board because you can put them all back into their hand. Fantastic addition to Standard and Blue strategies, now in Standard with Etherize. Put them all back. And then lastly, to punish the artifact or enchantment heavy decks, we have Fade from History. Blow them all up, and then consolation prize, get a bear. So that is blue-green mid-range. It has been fun to play. It is a bit tricky to play, so if you suck at Magic, maybe this would be a good deck to try and learn a few things about how to play mid-range decks better. No offense intended, but if the shoe fits, just kidding. Hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day.